What's going on, guys? Friendly neighborhood nerd StarFox here, coming at you with another series. I'm just going to show you replays of battles that I've had. This, these three is a best of three, obviously, but with a mate of mine. Yeah, we talk. He's pretty good at Pokemon. Don't want to reveal anything about him. Um, but anyway, um, we had three matches. We were supposed to be using different teams every time, but we'll get to that later. Um, I was using teams that I had pre-made. He just made them on the spot, so I didn't really bother me if they were really fast and cheap or anything. But a lot of my teams are cheap anyway. But we'll get on to the battle. I'll just play it and then show you what goes on. Let's start my music. My music is um, Team Galactic Commander Battle Pokemon Diamond and Pearl on two bass guitars. I'm just using bass guitars because then it doesn't get in the road of my voice. But I led Rotom thinking that he'd either lead with Rotom, Mangshao, or Gliscor, even Diancie even. Rotom could just work against everything. If he went into Mangshao, I just went into Landorus and pivoted to um, Volcarona, and then I just had to switch out, thinking that he would think that I'm Scarfed or about to set up or Sash or something. This guy really likes his Volcarona, so he knows a lot of different sets. But I just thought, well, I'll Will-O-Wisp on the first turn, see what he wants to do. He goes for the Volt Switch. Now I'm thinking, what is he going to do? He goes into Mangshao. So obviously I figured out what I needed to do here. I went into Sizzle though. Just because I thought that he wasn't going to go for the high jump kick. Once I brought in Sizzle, I just took it back because I didn't want to reveal anything. Could have had Heat Wave, and he could have even outsped. So I just went straight into a Azumarill just to play rough him. He does survive though, which doesn't really help him, seeing as he went for the taunt. Very good play. If I'd belly drumped, I could have went through his entire team. But he did have Zapdos, and Zapdos wasn't that useful against the rest of the team unless he had Heat Wave for Scizor, which is a good idea. Like, I am Mega Scizor, so predicting him to switch out, I go back into Rotom because I know my Rotom is going to work better than his in this situation as I am max for def. So I just go for the Volt Switch, taking the Speed tie. Go straight into Zapdos that is neutral against it, so it does do a decent amount. Enough to where he can't recover off with leftovers, and two Psyshocks can take him out. Even if he had Hidden Power Ice, he wouldn't have been able to kill. Thunderwave is definitely a good play because that means that his Mandibuzz should be able to come in and kill me. However, I predict him to go into Mandibuzz to want to kill me and go straight for the Draco Meteor. This does give him a chance to come in with Gliscor, but I had to take the chance because I need Latias for maybe Defog later, and it has Healing Wish, which is really useful. I actually brought Hidden Power Ice Lando just because this team doesn't deal very well with Gliscor, even with Azumarill. But if you catch them off guard with even just one Hidden Power Ice, Gliscor goes down easily, especially even if you die and just bring in Azumarill. But now that he set up a Sword Dance, he realizes that there's not much that he can do. He's already knocked off my item, so he's not going to do too much damage. All I have to do at this point is spam Hidden Power Ice. He knows that I'm not Specs, he knows that I'm not max invested. Even if he switched, it didn't bother me. Because Hidden Power Ice, I needed that thing gone. If it had Roost, it could have been worse. I predicted him. I needed to go into Latias because I didn't want anything else Will-O-Wisp, and he could have just as well Hydro Pump, so I couldn't go into Volcarona either. My team doesn't deal with Will-O-Wisp very well, so I have to get Latias or Rotom burnt themselves, which isn't very useful, but it's a offensive team. It's not meant to be set up or anything. I just do the same play as last time and Psyshock him. He obviously couldn't do much if he switched out. He would go straight into Diancie, which is right here. I would either, in that situation, I'd either fear Stealth Rocks or Moonblast. He could have Diamond Storm, but there's no chance that I was bringing in Volcarona there, so there's no point. Moonblast does do a lot to Azumarill, but it's a Mega Diancie. Mega's supposed to be that powerful. All I have to do at this point is spam Aqua Jet. Seeing what happened earlier, where he didn't fake out, he just went straight for the U-turn. Sorry about that. I figured he might be scarfed, so I would just go for the Aquajet, thinking that he wouldn't have priority, which is a good idea, but I think he tried. The thing is, he tried scaring me out with the fake out, but earlier I figured that he had the chance of being scarfed, so sorry about that again, guys. I'll just do this time. But anyway, I can sack a Zoomerl at this point. It's done enough chip damage to where my team can just rummage through. I bring back Rotom, is low enough where Volt Switch will kill again. So I just bring in Volcarona. Obviously this guy's Scarf, so he's going to have Stone Edge. Seeing as he did go for Stone Edge there, it shows that he is in fact Scarfed. All that do was Earthquake, because if Gliscor comes in, even after 2 more Toxic Heals, Hidden Power Ice still overpowers him. He has no way to beat this Landorus. This Landorus set is the only set that Gliscor does not wall, or at least the move-wise. After that, he brings in Diancie, but I don't need Rotom anymore, so all I do is sack it. It does survive 1 hit, but it's not going to make a difference as Diancie is faster, even if I am max for def. At this point, I wanted to show off my creativity on this set, and use Endure with the Salac Berry, obviously. You can see in the chat how I say, let's see how much this does. I was testing this. I had obviously won this set, unless he had some form of flinching move, like Rock Slide on Main Shout, if it even gets Rock Slide. So I just went straight for the Giga Drain, just went for it again. There was no point in me even caring about him switching at this point. Doesn't matter what happens. I switched out Volcarona because it can resist the high jump kick, which I could use later if Mag Shout ends up being the last one. It does get health back, so we did find out that it was Regenerator, so it's not reckless. He does go for the Stone Edge again though. Double Stone Edge will knock me out. I just have to bring in Scizor and Bullet Punch at this point. Due to me not knowing if Bullet Punch will kill or not, because of the Regenerator, he now has 71%, obviously. But what I do here is I sack my Volcarona so that I get a safe switch in on Landorus, where Landorus's Intimidate will lower the attack. All I have to do here is click Earthquake. If he kills me, he kills me. And even if he did kill me, all I had to do was Bullet Punch. He couldn't have killed me with High Jump Kick on Mega Scizor because of the Intimidate. So there's the end of that match. Second one's right here. Actually, let's be creative. Let's put Dark on. Okay. So here he has a very defensive, safe team. I've found that this player is very safe. He doesn't like doing anything offensively. He doesn't like doing a high prediction that will cost him or give him the game. No high risk, no high reward stuff. Whereas my team, I need to do those things. It's a high level play team and you need to do it. I lead off Garchomp thinking, well, I can't let him start with Heatran because Will-O-Wisp. And if he starts with Staraptor, I can get damage off with Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin. I can set up Stealth Rocks. Worst case scenario, he led off with Cresselia and I had Ice Beam. But he leads off with Gengar, me thinking it could be Scarf Specs, Life Orb, or Sash. I am best to switch into Rotom. Rotom can take any hit from this thing. He knows that. All I have to do is click Will-O-Wisp. I knew that he wouldn't bring in Heatran just for the sheer fact of Hydro Pump. If he did, and he was Magma Storm, could have been bad. But predicting the Taunt, Thunder Wave, or Nasty Plot, I decided to go into Excadrill. Seeing as I am Jolly Scarf, I'm going to outspeed it easily. And showing that I'm Scarfed, he can go straight into Crest. Now he is Calm Mind Crest, which this team doesn't do well with, but first I knock off his item, which does 50%. Obviously the next knockoff isn't going to do enough, so it's not a 2-hit KO. So I have to bring in Excadrill, check the damage. If that was a crit, that is nothing. Excadrill obviously can't do anything but destroy Heatran and Gengar at this point, unless Gengar's Focus Blast Scarf. I need to bring in a Azumarill and get at least one flinch. He has the Toxic, so he's not full offense substitute, which is good. If he did, he would have had the game hands down. But all I can do at this point is spam Waterfall. Nothing I do can get around this. I just basically wanted to test the damage throughout the rest of this match. It is pretty boring at the moment. There's no momentum or anything. As I said earlier, he's a very safe player. He got one opportunity to set up defensively. He got it. Remember this for the next match, okay? So here's the important part. I bring in Toxicroak and use Gunk Shot. If that had hit, it would have done a ton of damage. Plus, it could have poisoned or it could have crit if I was actually lucky. But that one miss could have cost me the game because all I had to do was hit that and then either predict him to attack and use Sucker Punch or go into Excadrill and just hit the Earthquake because then he'd be low enough. But I just bring in Excadrill and this all continues. Obviously I have to go for flinches at this point, there's no way that I can come back. Obviously it's me, I only get the flinch when it doesn't matter. Just waiting to drink of water. As you saw just then, I did miss another Gunk Shot, so my second opportunity, however, I would have had to hit 2 Gunk Shots then, or I would have had to Sword Dance in a Gunk Shot. Either way, I was playing with 20% chance to miss on both turns. So it was really risky for me to use Gunk Shot, but I needed it. It's the only way that I could come back. Because as you see, that 36 damage, earlier on in the match, that would have killed him. At this point, it's basically me getting desperate. My Rotom couldn't deal with Altaria, it can't deal with Staraptor Gengar pivot. His Heatran could stop my Latias, and my Garchomp gets stopped by Gengar, Altaria. He can pivot with Staraptor as a sack, which would be horrible for me. I almost get the kill on that turn. However, you'll find that even if he's gone, as I said, Latias gets walled by everything now. He brings in Staraptor, so obviously I'm going to go into Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. Obviously, he could have just U-turned into Heatran, but now that I've brought in Garchomp, he has to go to Gengar. I'd just go for Dragon Claw, obviously. It wouldn't knock out. If I had Outrage, it would have, but if I used Outrage, he would have just brought in Altaria and won. So it's not that big of a reward. I can just bring in Latias and win the speed tie for once. Unless he was bulky. But now he can just bring in Heatran at this point. I do try and Healing Wish on Garchomp, but it's not going to be as helpful as I need it to be. This turn I needed to Dragon Claw, so then his Staraptor and Altaria couldn't come in. Because if Altaria came in then, I could have gotten damage on it and killed it with Earthquake. However, if it had switched in on the Earthquake then Mega Evolve, I would have been in a very bad position. So this last turn was my only chance to have a smidgen of winning the entire match. So that one play that he did the entire match won him the game. This Garchomp could have beaten the rest of his team. Unless he was max defense Altaria and choice banded Staraptor. This last turn I went for double endure, seeing if I can get him down to half health, but he just goes for Earthquake, knowing about Rough Skin Rocky Helmet by now. But if he went for a Startle Return, he would have been at half health by the end of it. He could have been at 25 because of the Earthquake damage. So we're 1-1 at the moment. We both got one win. If you haven't, you can notice how safe this guy's playing with all of his moves. Now this time, let's put this one as dark again. It looks better. He brought the exact same team, but even though he did, I still thought that he would have changed a few things just to catch me off guard, because I think of everything when I'm in battle, or at least trying in battle. Hashtag not trying. But anyway, I brought Mega Sableye, Double Choice Band, Life Orb, Choice Scarf, Leftovers, Clef. This team is very offensive with 3 Choice Scarfers. It relies on a lot of damage. So if we start this up with leading Excadrill, I could have taken out Heatran, I could have dealt damage to Cress. I wasn't worried about Cress this game because I had both Sableye and Clefable as well as the Banded Sizzle. I did not bring it in preparation, he just managed to bring the same team. If he brought in Staraptor, I don't think he was Intimidate, so Rock Slide would have killed him. Thunderous, Rock Slide would have killed him, and Gengar here, Earthquake kills. Obviously he's going to go into Thunderous. I have no reason to predict that Thunderous there. If he had stayed in on the Rock Slide, he could have killed me with a Focus Blast. And I don't really want to die when my Excadrill takes on half of his team. Here I go on to Sableye because I know that I can take one Thunderbolt, and then I can take more than two at full health when I'm Mega. So turn 1 when I still have Prankster, I recover so that I can take the next hit. He goes for the next Thunderbolt. It obviously does enough where he can stall me out. So I just switch out thinking that he's going to switch out as well. However, he doesn't. But even so, he had to go for Thunderbolt for the maximum amount of damage and the paralysis chance. So Excadrill was the safest place for me to go. Here I predict him to go to Heatran, thinking because he knows that I'm scarfed at this point. Thinking that I would Rock Slide, so I Earthquake straight up and I read his Heatran play. He can bring in Thunderous again, but all I have to do is bring in Latias. Even Hidden Power Ice shouldn't kill me from this range, but he again has the Thunder Wave. Psyshock kills at that range, so I was safe to go for that. No Draco or anything. Gengar did outspeed me at that with that paralysis, which is a good play on his part. However, I can go straight into Azumarill, even though he could have Sludge Wave. He does miss the Will-O-Wisp. That's a big play because seeing as I'm Choice Banded, 2 Play Roughs wouldn't have killed him after the burn, which means he could have done some shenanigans and won with Shadow Ball. And also, this Azumarill could have been effective against Altaria later. But 2 Play Roughs is going to take him out, definitely. He brings in Staraptor. I don't really care about Azumarill anymore. It's too low health to help. So, yeah. I went with the mid-ground, unless he went Altaria and Mega Evolve and attack straight up. Sableye was my best possible play. He had to have return with attack investment to kill me. Staraptor, I could have healed off the damage Will-O-Wisp, and then if I Will-O-Wisp, he could have switched into Altaria. With Cress, I can basically beat him in stall. So, not so much stall, just setup. He brings in Staraptor. Obviously, I'm going to bring in Excadrill, which can take a hit. There was no possible chance that he was going for close combat, as he may be choiced in either Choice Scarfed or Choice Banded. Seeing that damage, I think it's Choice Banned, but he would not close combat when Sableye's out, because that would cost him even more of the game. I go for the late game rocks here, just for extra damage on Cress, Altaria, and Staraptor if it switches out, because the rocks is super effective before Altaria Mega Evolves, and it gets damage on Cress, which is always helpful. But 2 Brave Birds is going to take me out. I was Choice Scarf plus Stealth Rock. Now I can go into Sableye. That does a lot of damage, so it's definitely Choice Banded now that I look at it, but now I can just burn him. Obviously I'm going to bring in Clefable. Now that he is burnt, I am safe to do whatever. And obviously he's going to go down to the attack. Altaria comes in, that extra damage is going to mean a lot. He goes for the Dragon Nest, but I'm unaware, so I have nothing to worry about. That's why I also don't care about the Cresselia. However, him having Toxic could have made a big play. That's why it's good that I had both Sableye and Sizzle. Now that Cress comes in, this is where my moles start coming in. I bring in Sizzle just to get the knockoff damage off. There you go. It gets a crit though, and I didn't want to win because of the crit, so as you see in the chat, I'll be nice and switch for you. He didn't like this after the match. We were speaking after the match. He didn't like it, but that's what I thought. I didn't want to win because of a crit. I'm always saying I want a good match, no hacks. So I basically bring in Clefable. Obviously I'm unaware, so I can stall this guy with Calm Minds. All I have to do is Moonblast. His Spadef does not make a difference when it comes to damage. His Toxic does, like, if he was really persistent in this, that Toxic would have beaten Clefable in the long run. However, I have multiple things. All I have to do is Healing Wish, bring in Sableye. I could bring in Sizzle and just U-turn, whatever. The burn will be really effective now that his leftovers is gone as well. I don't know why he just didn't forfeit at this point. Then again, why didn't I forfeit the last match? Because I was banking on him making a misplay, which is always a good idea. Never forfeit if you have a chance to win. But at this point, all I have to do is catch up to him. Slime. Um, I actually thought that he had Moonlight, so I'd calm mind so that I can get more on par with him. However, he just basically forfeits and lets himself die to burn. But anyway, that's the match, or matches. What do you guys think of this? I might have some more coming up shortly. This is your friendly neighborhood nerd, StarFox. Hope you have a good life. I'm out.